Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Hnem. I am going to medical school this fall, and today I am going to talk about how I went from a 2.7 GPA in my freshman year to a 3.7 GPA in my senior year. So I started college at a very prestigious private college in my state. I did not start college with a pre-med track. I didn't really know what I wanted to be at that time, so I just majored in something that I thought was cool, which was pre-pharmacy. And at that private college, I could finish my doctorate degree in pharmacy in 6 years. Pharmacy wasn't something that I was very passionate about, but I just did it because I thought it was cool and it would be so nice to finish my doctorate degree in 6 years. So starting my freshman year, I didn't really know how to study. I had a really bad start. I was not ready for college level classes and I did not have my own study technique at that time. Because of that reason, I had a really bad grade in my first semester. I had like a C in biology and I had like a B- in general chemistry. I did not have any A. Another reason for my grades was that in order to get into pharmacy school, I only needed a 3.4 GPA. So I was like, okay, a 3.4 GPA is not that high. It is something that is definitely doable, especially since I had above 4.0 GPA in high school. So that kind of mentality combined with the lack of passion in the subject area really killed the motivation to work hard. So I ended up with a 2.7 GPA in the first semester of my freshman year. And to be honest, I was kind of surprised to see my GPA that low. I mean, I knew I didn't do well, but I did not expect it to be that low. I basically went from above 4.0 GPA in high school to a 2.7 GPA in the first semester of my freshman year of college. So starting my second semester, I knew that I had to work hard. I started to study more, try to figure out my own study technique. So I ended up with a 3.2 GPA in my second semester. A 3.2 GPA is better, but it is still pretty bad and it does not meet the 3.4 GPA requirement that I have to get in order to get into pharmacy school. Moving on to my sophomore year, that was when I really started to work as a medical interpreter and got to see the clinical experience. I also volunteered at a hospital. Volunteering was not something that was required for pharmacy school, but I knew that it would look good for my resume, so I volunteered anyway. And that was when I really started to question myself on what I want to do for the rest of my life and what I want to study. I also shadowed different pharmacies at that time just to see how they work and to see the feel. And I slowly started to realize that I wanted more than what pharmacies can offer. But then I thought, it's too late to change my major. And why would I want to be a doctor at this point with this GPA and knowing how competitive it is, there is a very low chance that I would get in. However, after lots of thinking, I finally decided to change my major. It was a very big decision for me because I knew all of the risks, I knew where I stand, and I know my chance of getting in. My advisor actually said, "You're probably not gonna get into the MD school," and he was trying to recommend me to a DO school. Even then, he said it would be difficult for me to get in. He was nice about it, he didn't want to destroy my hope, but at the same time, he was very realistic about where I stand and trying to make me realize my chances of getting in. That was during the first semester of my sophomore year. I barely had a 3.4 GPA, which is getting better, better than 2.7 GPA. However, that is far from ideal for a med school. So when I finally decided to change my major, I decided to change my college too. I decided to transfer. Because my college at that time at the private school, it was super expensive and I did not think it was worth it when I don't even want to go to their 6-year program. So yeah, I would say I made a radical change. I transferred to a well-known public university in my state starting second semester of my sophomore year. They also have med school over there, so I thought it was perfect for me. Regarding my GPA, I knew I have to work a lot harder and I put so much pressure on myself to bring up my grades. I did have to retake a few science courses, but they were okay and I ended up with a 3.8 GPA in my senior year. So to recap it, I finished my first semester of college with a 2.7 GPA, ended up with a 3.4 GPA before I decided to transfer in the second semester of my sophomore year. And my new university, I finished with a 3.8 GPA in my senior year. My overall GPA, combining the one from a private college and the public college, my combined GPA was 3.7. So what really worked for me to bring up those grades was finding my own study technique. A lot of people love flashcards, but flashcards were not really for me, and I had to figure out what works for me and what didn't. So I would like to encourage you guys to stick to what works for you. You will be tempted to study just like others, do the things that they do, thinking that they will work for you, but that's not always the truth. It's very important to find your own study technique and make sure you stick to it consistently. Another thing that factored into my improvement was the transfer that I made with my college. Private colleges in general are very strict with their grading system. They don't really give curves, they don't really give bonus points, and one of my professors at the private college actually raised the percentage to get an A to a 94% instead of the regular 92%. So I would say at a public university, their grading system is a lot nicer and they're a lot more lenient. So what I would like to say is know where you stand and know where you're going. For me, there was not really a reason to stay at the private college, even though it was really prestigious. The public school that I transferred to has their own medical school and it's a lot cheaper. And turns out it was a bit easier to get an A too. That is like a really bonus point for me. So yeah, if you're going to a prestigious school like me and you think that you need to switch your school or switch your major, I would say make an informed decision, decide all of the pros and cons that you're gonna get, because that will definitely impact where your grades are and where you are going for graduate school. So the last thing that really factored into my improvement was my motivations to study. And again, I did not really have any motivation to study as a pre-pharmacy student. But ever since I decided to change my major, knowing how competitive it is and knowing how hard it would be to get in, I really started to study hard. I really worked hard for those grades. And it wasn't just about my grades, there were so many other things that I had to do on the side, like activities, the experiences that I need for med school. So I did all of that at the same time. It was so stressful at times that at some point I started to hate school. I am not telling you to be like that. I'm not telling you to be stressed out like that and to hate school, because that is not good for you. Don't do that. But I do want to emphasize how important it is to know what you need to do to get to where you want to be. So that is my journey to med school regarding my GPA. If you are in the same situation right now where your GPA is not where you want it to be, don't give up. It is not the end. Even if you're already in your senior year, it is not the end. You can still get a graduate degree first before you apply to med school. Don't give up just because of some bad grades. You're gonna regret it. And remember how my advisor said I probably will not get into an MD school? Well, guess what? I did. And it is a school that I wanted to go to. So yeah, you can do it. Don't give up. You just have to have the motivation to work hard and figure out how to study. And everything is possible if you really believe in yourself and is willing to work hard for it. That's all for me today. I hope you find this video helpful or at least inspiring. If you would like to see more videos like this, please let me know in the comment below. And don't forget to subscribe. I will see you on my next video.